All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome into another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer and talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And for the first time since last season, we get to talk about a Vikings team that has won back-to-back games, and we couldn't be more excited about that.
My, how the turntables have turned. We tried a really great beer from NoCoast. We tried their Gingerbread Festive Ale. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot, more than I thought I would. We also dabbled a little bit in the upcoming 2026 draft and talked some hypotheticals about the rest of the season and how the draft might go.
But this season isn't over. We still have some games left to enjoy as Vikings fans, even though they didn't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We looked ahead to the Week 16 game against the Giants.
Yeah, it should be a good one. But until then, go ahead and grab a cold one and join us for episode 118 of the Skol Hop. Skol.
All right, we're going to give a quick shout out to That's Badass Wood Art. I believe Austin is holding a small piece of theirs, but we're getting a fairly large piece of theirs.
Yeah.
It's officially ordered. It's going to look like this. This is just a two-dimensional flag, but we're getting a three-dimensional piece of wood art that's exactly this size to go right here.
Yeah, I can't wait. For a couple reasons. One, because that new Skol Hop specific custom piece from That's Badass Wood Art is going to be awesome. And two, because then I can take my personal, Skol piece that we have here back to the man cave, back to the movie theater I have in the basement. And because I've been missing it. It's been here. We've had this agreement here with That's Badass Wood Art for a little while. So of course we've been showing this off, but I'm excited to get that new piece in so we can really show it off and have forever. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, and then just take this one back home. But yeah, you can see high quality wood art pieces. Go ahead, Evan. What did I interrupt you there?
Well, I was just going to finish the rest of their promotion here because we definitely want to promote them. Mm-hmm. If you, audience out there, are looking for a piece of wood art, and it doesn't even have to be Vikings related, although everything that we're going to have in this area is going to be Vikings related. You can go to their website, that's badasswoodart.com, type in our promo code SKOLHOP. You're going to get 10% off any and all orders. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
you could get one of these Skol pieces, which is one of their more popular. I think it's super easy for them to make, really high quality, and they can just ship them out like crazy. Or you can have a custom piece commissioned on your own. I do think it takes a little bit for those pieces to get made and shipped out to you, but we'll see. We'll see how long it takes for our piece to come in. Either way, I'm really excited, and it doesn't have to just be Viking stuff, like you said. He's got all kinds of other stuff on his website, movies and pop culture related, or even other teams. So, Skol Hop, all one word, for 10% off any all orders.
There you go. Some more good news here. Not just the fact that we're getting this new awesome piece of art to hang up behind us. We don't have to spin the wheel of purple punishments today.
Yet again. What is this, like 3 weeks in a row?
I think it's 3 weeks in a row, which is pretty awesome. We correctly picked preseason that the Vikings would beat the Cowboys. They did beat the Cowboys. So that's good news, too, that the Vikings won. Mm-hmm. And we've got a very festive beer to try tonight.
So Christmas is 10 days away as of the time of recording, even less by the time you're hearing us say this. I was feeling a little festive. So I picked up the beer tonight, and we have some Gingerbread Festive Ale from NoCoast. Is it NoCoast Brewery? Mm-hmm. NoCoast Beer Company out of Oskaloosa, Iowa. I won't read the whole thing, but it says the description on the can, which I appreciate when beers kind of describe or when breweries kind of describe what the beer is right on their can. It says, NoCoast Gingerbread Festive Ale is a rich malt-forward seasonal brew that captures the nostalgic flavors of homemade gingerbread fresh from the oven. I'm sold. I don't usually go for sweet dessert beers, but I'm excited for this one.
And I don't know that it's going to be a sweet dessert beer. It's a dark ale that has a malty, toasted caramel, cocoa. Yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of flavors in here.
Yeah, and 6%. We each have 2 16-ounces. We should be good to go for the morning after these. So
perfect.
Yeah, let's get them opened and give them a try. What a pour, Ev. What a pour.
I'm just going with the Austin pour from now on.
That's maybe even like the aggressive Austin pour. That's like we're just going to call that the Evan pour now. That's even more aggressive than I usually go. I'm loving it, Ev.
Oh, it smells amazing. I can smell the maltiness.
Oh, yeah.
It smells great.
All right. It's really, really dark. You can tell it's kind of brown, but super dark. Really good head retention. And I would assume this is a pretty fresh beer, too. It's pretty seasonal. So, yeah. Let's get into it.
Skol.
Skol.
Interesting. The gingerbread is there, for sure.
Yeah, like towards the end.
Yeah, it's on the back end.
Yeah, it starts off as like a malty dark beer, and then on the back end you get that. It's not necessarily sweet, but it is that nice gingerbread flavor. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. I was kind of afraid that this would be like a really sweet dessert beer that would be just like too much. Like we mentioned those pumpkin beers that can be like a pumpkin pie in a can.
Yeah, not my thing.
I was afraid this would be too sweet, but no, this is really good. I'm trying to decide if I didn't know what it was called. If you just poured me one of these and said, "Here, give this a try," if I would know, like, okay, gingerbread. Mm-hmm. I might get that kind of hint, and there's definitely something there about gingerbread. And if you said it afterwards, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that does make sense." But either way, really good flavor. 6% is no slouch, but also it's not like it's a 12%er. I like it. I would drink a handful of these.
If I say something about one aspect of it, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Oh no,
I don't want to shatter any glass ceilings. Can I say something though?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your podcast, man.
It's about the aroma.
Okay.
Like when you put your nose down into the glass right before you take a sip, I get a little bit of a smell of like dish soap. A little bit.
Oh no, you just ruined this beer. I'm just kidding.
That's what I was afraid of.
No.
It doesn't affect the flavor at all. Do you smell that? No?
I'm trying to smell it, and I'm not getting it. So I wonder if maybe even like it was just a unfortunate remnant of washing your beer glass, unless you got it again when you took a.
No, I get it. Every sip I take, I wash these in the dishwasher the same way every time. So.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm not getting that.
Maybe it'll go away after a while, and maybe it's just a flavor that I'm not used to having before. I did see on here, clove is a spice in here, and I don't eat or drink a lot of stuff with clove in it.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing I can really think of is like, don't they make like clove cigarettes?
Yeah.
And also there's like clove oil you can put on, hurting tooth. But I don't know if that's the same thing. Either way, I like this beer.
It's a good beer. Don't get me wrong. And the flavor's great. It's just that original smell, like, I don't know. There's something weird about it.
Interesting. Well, I'll keep trying to pick up on that, and maybe you just have a more refined palate than I do.
Or maybe I'm like slightly congested and not smelling things the right way. Who knows?
Nah, I think, I don't know. I think either way, it's good beer, and I'm excited to give a more refined opinion on it towards the end of the episode.
Yeah. Well, let's give our refined opinions on this Vikings win over the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. That felt pretty good to see the Vikings just kind of not dominate, but play well and play from behind for a little bit. They came from behind. The game was tied at halftime, and they had to catch up to make it a tie game early in the first half, and then in the second half they fell behind early in the third quarter, and then got the lead and kept it till the end.
Yeah, at one point it was 23-17. Cowboys were up, and the Vikings weren't. They weren't looking awful, but it felt tough. It felt difficult. Things weren't quite going their way altogether, but they were in it, and obviously they did come back and they won. Really helped that Aubrey missed 2 kicks.
He missed 2
difficult kicks. I mean, one of them was 59 yards, and the other one I think was
51.
51. So not gimmies at all, but still, for a guy that on the broadcast they were saying, "Oh yeah, they're 80 yards away from a field goal. They feel like they're already in field goal range." They were saying stuff like that, and they would say that, and then Aubrey missed a kick. And they weren't egregious misses, not like, oh my gosh, it's not even close, but a miss is a miss. So that definitely helps the Vikings' case. It was just really fun to watch after, it wasn't down to the wire and it wasn't a heart attack game for us Vikings fans, but it was also, just a good, solid all-around game. It was the kind of game that I think all of us were expecting to see from the Vikings all season. Solid play, never feeling like you're totally out of the game. Not a ton of egregious penalties. JJ didn't look totally worthless. I think about the only thing you could say negative-wise from this game, other than a couple injuries, which we'll talk about, is that Justin Jefferson still hasn't quite figured it out. Not that there weren't opportunities, but yeah, really fun game overall.
Yeah. Roses and thorns. Should we get into that?
Yeah.
I can start with a rose. I really think that early interception, I think it was like the second or third play of the game,
it was like the first pass.
It was the first pass play. I just can't remember. I know it wasn't the first play because I'm pretty sure the first play was a handoff. But that first passing play that resulted in an interception really could have derailed things for the Vikings offense. I thought the defense did great by they held them to a field goal on that first drive, and I think that kind of restored some faith on the Vikings sideline. Like, okay, we're not like they probably would have been pretty dejected had the Cowboys just turned around and waltzed into the end zone and scored 7.
Well, if you remember, after that interception, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys went 3 and out, but then if I'm remembering things right, that's when the Cowboys decided to pull that fake field goal.
The fake field goal.
And Aubrey ran it for, 6-7 yards. And
sorry, I had to do that.
Well, I did it for your benefit. But then even after that field goal fake success, the Cowboys had, the defense still came back out and only held them to a field goal. So that was pretty nice.
It was kind of a crazy sequence. And I think with that early interception on the, second or third play of the game, it could have really rattled JJ too, because JJ McCarthy's been hearing all this noise really since he got into the league, and nothing has really quieted down for him. He just continues to garner all this attention. Some of it's good, but a lot of it's not good. And so, and I texted you this. I said after the pass got batted down, and he tried to, or it got like tipped up in the air, I guess we should say, and he tried to bat it down. And as he was batting down the pass, it ended up in the arms of a defender, and that resulted in the interception. And I texted you, like, he just can't get out of his own way sometimes, and that's a perfect example of that. Like, he was trying to do the right thing, and he was trying to do the smart thing of, like, just get it in the ground, live to survive another play, and try as he might, it went poorly for him.
Yep. And which, like you said, has just been like, well, it could have easily been like, well, here we go again. I'm sure there were 1,000 tweets that went out again. I'm pretty sure I texted you and just said, welp.
Yep.
And I mean, it just felt like, all right, well, here it is again. Now we're back to JJ sucks after that Commanders game, which was pretty fun to see. A whole week of apparently Joe Burrow to the Vikings is a really fun rumor to talk about. And JJ McCarthy has heard that at least once, So, but to his credit, and to go back to your rose, I mean, in the moment, it was pretty frustrating. But as he was walking off the field, he kind of had a little bit of a smile on his face. Like, all right, I guess now we got to overcome that too, but in the moment as a Vikings fan, it's like, what are you smiling about? It kind of reminded me of earlier in the season, was it the Chargers game that Carson Wentz and Josh McCown were like going into they were going in the locker room for halftime, and McCown was like straight up laughing, and Wentz was kind of giving like a okay smile, but still, it's like, why are you guys smiling? But yeah, I think you got a great Rose there, not letting that interception derail everything, because that was really about the worst thing JJ did all game.
Yeah, and again, it could have soured the whole batch, right? Like it could have just made the whole game miserable. He could have gotten in his head. KOC could have gotten in his coaching mind and just decided, well, we're not going to throw the ball. We're going to do this instead, and I don't think it changed anything about the game plan or how anybody played. It was what it was. The defense did their job, held them to a field goal. And I like that you pointed out that sequence of the fake field goal. They got the first down, and then the defense still held them to 3 points there. I think that was a key in just maintaining some momentum and maintaining some leverage in the game. They did that, and I'm not saying it's all of that led to the win, but man, that game could have gone left real fast, and it didn't.
Yeah, and I think what helps that a lot, too, is it's not like it was a crazy, like, what are you doing ball by JJ. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have thrown it there anyways, because it immediately was batted down by the defender, or, tipped up by the defender. But it's not like it was like a totally crazy, like, how in the world would an NFL quarterback even make that decision? It was just a fluke play, and it helped that it was the second play of the game or third play of the game, and not like on the final drive where you're hoping to win it. So there are a lot of time to get over that, and they did. So yeah, my Rose, it's kind of a long one, and I need to get better about having roses and thorns that are specific to the game and not just like, well, I have a thought and here we go, it's going to expand. But
that's all right, it's your podcast.
My Rose is just how aggressive the offense was, and I have a certain play in mind. We talked about how in the third quarter the Vikings were down 17-23. Things kind of seemed like the Cowboys were going to start to pull away a little bit. But the Vikings, down 17-23, they were starting to drive a little bit, but they got down to a 3rd and 1, and they tried an end-around little pitch play to, I think it was Jalen Naylor, and it got blown up, and he lost 2 or 3 yards. It must have been like 2 yards, because the KOC, to his credit, decided, hey, we're gonna go for it on this 4th and 3, and much to J.J. McCarthy's credit, he threw a dart, a really difficult pass to the sideline to, I think, also Jalen Naylor again, and it was caught, and it was good for like 20-ish yards. And then that drive, it was the drive that in the end zone, Justin Jefferson, I don't think it was that touchdown catch that he had that was called back on a penalty, but it was one that he had the ball in his hands on the left side of the end zone, which would have absolutely been a touchdown. But Justin Jefferson just dropped that one. But ultimately, a play or two after that, CJ Ham, he rushed for a touchdown, the 5th one of his career. So going forward on 4th and 3, that aggressiveness of the offense, and then J.J. McCarthy and Jalen Naylor really paying off the coaching decision of going for it by performing really well, and then the offensive line. Really just everything was clicking, and it was really nice to see an aggressive offense that actually worked.
You look at the win probability chart, like that 4th and 3 play with 2:49 in the third quarter, that was kind of the turning point. Like it was kind of Dallas all through the third quarter, even at the end of the second quarter and then into the third, and then it starts to trend towards the Vikings' direction, and the Vikings never really let go of it after that. So
after that play, the Vikings would end up doubling their score by the end of the game, whereas the Cowboys only scored 3 more after that 4th and 3 conversion. So you could argue if JJ throws a worse pass and they don't convert on that 4th down, the Vikings don't go on to win the game. It's little things. They say game of inches all the time. It's little things like that could have derailed the game more than that first pass interception. So yeah, my rows, offensive aggressiveness, and then the defense was just as aggressive as always. And you could even say, and I tweeted it from the Skol Hop, Harrison Smith, I don't know if he's just getting, more visible and the ball's kind of going his way and he's seen more on TV, but I think he's really, whatever happened in training camp kind of seemed to really slow him down. And we were all saying, like, I think this is it. I think he's showing that he's in the final year of his contract or career. But the last couple of games, Harrison Smith has really started to look like the old Harrison Smith again. So yeah, aggressiveness all around, but it was just fun to watch.
Thorns, you want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned the thing about Justin Jefferson not getting a lot of run recently, but my real thorn is that the last 2 games, we've seen a lot of success. The Vikings have scored 31 and 34 points, respectively, in the last 2 games. My thorn is that it's taken too long to get here. For whatever reason, sitting on our couch, we assume it's that, JJ's looked better because KOC has kind of let go of the reins and just said, go play ball. Maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not. I'm assuming that's the case. But for whatever reason or reasons, this team has really figured something out. And maybe it's just like, hey, F it. We're just going to go play. Who cares? What do we have to lose? We're already out of the playoffs. But yeah, my thorn is that it's taken too long this year to see this success. Because if they had played all season like they did against the Commanders and the Cowboys, it would definitely have been a different season. Especially look at the Lions. They're not looking great. The Bears are pretty good, but they're definitely beatable. And the Packers, same as the Bears, they're pretty good, but they're definitely beatable. Vikings could have had an opportunity this year.
Do you think that a lot of that is Kevin O'Connell, and like do you think more specifically he was micromanaging JJ McCarthy and trying to force mechanics, trying to force a lot of this football stuff on him instead of just kind of telling him from the get-go early on in the season, hey, just go out and play, and then as we go we'll fix the things. Because JJ's mechanics were on glass last night. He looked, that one, it was the Jalen Naylor touchdown, where Naylor went down and got hurt. His chicken wing leg came out as he's
he did
the
a full on pirouette throwing that touchdown pass.
And I get sometimes when you're an athlete and you're in the heat of the moment, your mechanics kind of go out the window. But your mechanics need to be sound enough that you can, your body's trained to make those same motions regardless of the stress that you're under. And so I'm wondering, and I don't know if you feel the same way, if maybe Kevin O'Connell tried to just white knuckle all of that with JJ early on, and like you said, maybe he finally got to a point where it was you know what, just go play, and then we'll fix stuff later, or we'll fix little things here and there as we go. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely it's at least one of the things that kind of kept this season held back a little bit. I mean, they even said it. I think JJ said something to the tune of recently, what, we just decided just go play, and then, we can fix whatever we need to fix in the off season, which is really the right way to think about it after having seen the way this season's played out. But I think, yeah, there's a few things. You can't discredit the fact that this team was so injured early on. Christian Darrisaw, he may not play again this year. They haven't announced that. They did announce Grenard. He had, he's either going to or he's already
shoulder
had
surgery. Right?
Yeah, just to shut him down for the year. Which, you know what, in a season like this, I'm not one for tanking. But if you do get to the point where it's hey, we actually don't have anything to play for. We want to see wins, but if you're hurt, just like Christian Darrisaw, if he's really hurt, shut him down. Yep. I think we saw the Commanders announce today that they're going to shut down Jaden Daniels. No sense. Yeah, you want to play and compete, but there's no sense in jeopardizing the future just because you still want to play and compete. So I think that's one thing for the Vikings this year, is that they started off the season so injured, especially at offensive line. And then you had the inconsistency with J.J. McCarthy. You think if he didn't have that ankle injury, Maybe this whole mindset of F it, just go play ball, maybe that happens way earlier in the season and we see this kind of if this production here in the last 2 games isn't a fluke. I think we're seeing growth from Kevin O'Connell as a coach. Like you said, I think it really feels like at some point Kevin O'Connell's like, you know what? I'm just going to call the plays and then support my quarterback, my offense, my team the best I can. But ultimately, like if JJ is able to throw a 20-yard pass to Jalen Naylor in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown, who cares if JJ looks like he's never, looks like he's dancing ballet out there as he's throwing this ball? If the ball gets where it needs to go, we'll work on that in the offseason. I think you're seeing some of the reasons this last couple of games has figured it out is you're seeing guys get healthier. You're seeing JJ just kind of get looser. And, you can't discredit. There's got to be some development from JJ so far, too. Like, yeah, his mechanics aren't perfect, and that's something that was talked about a ton on the broadcast last night. But also, like, even 1 game of experience is still a ton of experience compared to 0 games, and he's had now 8 games. I think you're seeing a lot of development from coaches and players and things getting healthy and, getting a little lucky here and there, too. Like, you just wish all this positive momentum would have happened against the Chargers earlier in the season, So a follow-up question that I would have then is, do you think the Vikings, had they taken this let's just go play F it ball mentality from the get-go, and maybe Carson Wentz doesn't even start because maybe JJ's ankle wasn't really that hurt? Yeah.
Do you think that changes where we're at right now, Vikings record? Do you think they win more games? Do you think they're a better team overall?
Yeah, if, like I just said, if they had decided, 6 games ago to just be like, you know what, hey, Kevin O'Connell in his mind had said like, hey, I want J.J. McCarthy's feet to be perfect. But you don't always get what you want, and like if they had just decided earlier on, like just go play. We're in the season. In the middle of the season is not the time to try to overhaul a quarterback's mechanics. It's one thing to be like, hey man, this one little thing, try to fix it. And if you can in practice and stuff, we'll work on a little bit. Just try to fix this one little thing. That's one thing. But if it's like, hey, JJ said it a handful of weeks ago, he is trying to forget everything he's known about how he's wired to play quarterback. The middle of the season is definitely not the time to try to do something like that. And I think Kevin O'Connell, up until this point, we've talked about this handfuls of times, but up until this point as the head coach of the Vikings, he's never had to develop a full-on rookie quarterback. Most every quarterback he's had has been some version of a veteran, whether it's Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold or, even the backups, Nick Mullins. They've had some established NFL career, and they've been playing for a while. And JJ is 22 years old. Like he's not an established NFL quarterback yet. So, yeah, I think if they had played F-it ball from the get-go, maybe it is different. But coulda, shoulda, woulda. We'll see next year, I guess.
Well, and all of this makes me wonder, too, like, is there more going on behind the scenes, GM and head coach relationship? Like, was Kwesi really pushing J.J. McCarthy on KOC? Like, hey, we drafted him high. You need to play him. And was KOC in a power struggle of like, well, oh, shucks, he's got a sprained ankle. Guess we're going to have to play the seasoned veteran for a while.
Yeah.
And, like, and who knows? Maybe that's what Josh McCown and Carson Wentz were laughing about. Like, hey, isn't this funny how we're in this situation? And, like, you're the starting quarterback for the Vikings, but only for a little bit because it's not going to last. I don't know. I'm just purely speculating at this point.
Yeah. I will say the worst time to try to fix a leak in a boat is when you're in the middle of the ocean. When you're in the leaking, sinking boat, you're doing everything you can to just get to land, which in the middle of the season is the worst time to try to fix personnel. Personnel moves in the season should be, oh crap, somebody's injured, we need to fill that spot. I think Kevin O'Connell has used this term a few times this season where he said the intention of the roster formation. He talked about it first off, like with injuries. It wasn't intended for the left tackle for the first few games to be Justin Skol. It wasn't intended for Blake Brandell to play center for multiple games and play it pretty darn well, actually.
Played admirably.
It wasn't intended for Sam Howell probably to be traded away from the team before he ever got a regular season look.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, like this whole team, its intent in early September does not look the way that it, that the season doesn't look the way they intended it to, here in December from, the beginning of the year. So I would say maybe there is, some GM coach disagreements on how things have gone, but you would assume they would have been at least in agreement, if not in tandem, all the way from the draft through the offseason, through the building of the roster they intended to have, and maybe just the quick twitch signings, re-signings, trades, cuts have happened just in the middle of the fire as the ship is sinking. And this offseason, I think, is going to prove a lot of things. We're going to probably be surprised by a few moves, personnel and players, and it'll be entertaining at least. I think the Skol Hop will not run out of things to talk about.
We never do. I can share my thorn pretty quickly. It's not anything super crazy. We had a good little run there, though, with your thorn.
Yeah.
But I felt like they did not run the ball efficiently enough. And I've been pounding the table for the Vikings to run the ball for a few weeks now. Last night as a team, they averaged 2.8 yards per rush. That was Aaron Jones' average. Jordan Mason averaged 1/10 of a yard better, 2.9. J.J. McCarthy was actually the most efficient rusher of 3.8 yards per carry.
Off of what, 1 or 2 carries?
Off of 4 carries.
Okay.
But he had that rushing touchdown. And then, of course, there's C.J. Ham, who had 1 carry for 1 yard and a touchdown.
Did you know that was only his 7th overall touchdown of his career?
That's wild to me that he's been in the league for that long and only has that many touchdowns. But I think that just proves how awesome that guy is. He's just, I'm going to get down and dirty for my team, and I'll go out and block. I'll go out and do all the stuff that no one else wants to do, and I don't care if I get the credit or not.
Yeah, you really got to respect guys like C.J. Ham and Harrison Smith that have been with this team for a long time and maybe are at, towards the end of their careers, and could probably contribute with other teams. But both of those guys have really not quit on this team ever, and it's something that I admire a lot. When you easily could quit and just say, "Hey, release me so I can go play with Aaron Rodgers," it would be really easy to quit on the Vikings. But it's really nice that Harrison Smith and C.J. Ham have never quit on this team.
Who are you talking about there, man?
C.J. Ham and Harrison Smith. Who else would you?
All right.
Who else would you? I would definitely not talk about a lifelong Vikings fan who became a Pro Bowl, top wide receiver in the NFL, who gave and got so much from this team, and then just quit when the times got tough. I wouldn't be talking about a guy like that from Detroit Lakes at all. What a quitter. I wouldn't be talking about that. But yeah, C.J. Ham, Harrison Smith, probably I'd say Brian O'Neill too. There's probably another couple of guys that just don't quit on this team, and it's really encouraging to see.
Well, coming back to my thorn.
Sorry, I blacked out there for a second.
I think this team needs to figure out how to run the ball more efficiently, especially with what I would say are 2 Pro Bowl caliber running backs on the roster. I think both of them, I don't know that both of them will make the Pro Bowl, but
I don't think either will, but it's hard. Like, they're in that atmosphere.
I think they're in that category for sure. They're great backs, and Jordan Mason has not disappointed at all. I think he's performed admirably. I wish we'd give him the ball more. I think, we talked about it from the get-go. He's not going to be necessarily the number 2. He's more of the 1B.
And I would say that hasn't really played out exactly the way that we thought it would. But
correct.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely taken more of the number 2 role. But I don't know that Kevin O'Connell has that 1A, 1B, kind of like that Gibbs Montgomery 1-2 punch that they have.
No, they're Detroit. They're not there.
I don't think he has that figured out in his offensive scheme yet. I'm hoping he can get there, but
I mean, sorry to cut you off. I would argue, like I said,
he's a pass heavy coordinator.
The intention of the roster, I think the intention of Kevin O'Connell's game plan is not really focused on having 1,000-yard rusher, maybe 1,000 yards rushing as a team. But like, I think just the way he designs his game plan, his offense, his mentality, good or bad, is, we're not going to have, an Adrian Peterson rushing for 2,000 yards. Like, I wonder what a prime Adrian Peterson in this Kevin O'Connell offense would look like. Would he just will himself to getting 2,000 yards again like he did in 2012, or would it, be a really good overperformance of like 1,300 yards? What did Aaron Jones get last year? I think he got like 1,100 yards, and that was
pretty good.
Really, I think it was the most he's had as a pro. Last year he had 1,138, and that was his highest total as a pro. I think that was kind of fluky. I think that was just Aaron Jones willing himself to that many rushing yards despite Kevin O'Connell's game plan, which is very pass heavy. So,
the only reason I'm pounding the table for a better run game is the sole purpose of developing J.J. McCarthy, giving him time to see plays, giving him time to catch his breath between either passing plays or running plays, and he's proven a few times that he can run the ball. There's a play early in the first half where he bullied himself down to the 1 yard line and like went head first, and I think all of us are like
he even in slow mo he hit his head on the turf.
His neck kind of took an awkward turn there. It was kind of a cringy play for us as Vikings fans. Like, well, there's another concussion or there's a neck injury or something, right? Like, but I think the Vikings need a solid ground game, and I don't know that we'll ever get it with Kevin O'Connell the way that we want to, but I think that's going to help balance this out for JJ, and it's going to increase his longevity as a quarterback in this league, and it's going to speed up his development, I think.
Now, I will say, and I totally agree with you, I think that's definitely a good thorn. It's a valid thorn. But I will say, I'd be interested to see the numbers from the last two games. I know against the Cowboys. They ran the ball
way better against the Commanders.
Against the Cowboys, they had 28 carries for 77 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. One of those being that maybe one of the greatest fakes I've ever seen from J.J. McCarthy to get that rushing gritty touchdown. That was
beautiful.
But I wonder, are you pulling up the Commanders game stats?
So the Vikings had 162 yards on the ground as a team, and that was with Aaron Jones getting 76. I mean, overall.
So, like I said, with Kevin O'Connell's offense, you're probably not going to get a 100-yard rusher too often, but you might get 4 guys that account for 100-plus yards if things go well. And
I just look at the average yards per carry, like 2.8 against the Cowboys, 4.8. Like that's a big difference. 4.8, you can run the ball on first and second down, and you're basically getting a first down every 2 or 3 plays. If you just run the ball that efficiently and that consistently. When you're rushing it for 2.8 yards, now it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and you have to pass, and you have to rely on your young, inexperienced quarterback to make accurate down the field throws. Whereas if it's 3rd and 2, the whole playbook is open to you. If it's 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3, the whole playbook is open to you. You can take that down the field shot, but you can also hand it off, and you've got so many options in your pocket that way. And that's what I like. I'm a guy that likes to have options.
Absolutely.
I don't like to be restricted in like, oh, well, I guess we only have, 4 verts here. That's the only play we can run. Hope somebody can get open.
Now, I will say we are looking at numbers from 2 very different defenses that the Vikings were facing.
Yes.
You know, the Commanders' defense is not the same as the Cowboys' defense. And the Cowboys' defense isn't even, league best. But, yeah, I think, all this is proving your point here. The Vikings need to run the ball more efficiently. They need to figure that out. And hopefully that is something we see as another point of growth from Kevin O'Connell. I did see a tweet, and this is a little bit of a tangent here, but I saw a tweet. I forget who tweeted it, so I'm sorry, whoever that is. But if the Vikings, I think it was Power Trip Bets that tweeted it, if the Vikings do not move on from Kevin O'Connell this offseason, which I think at this point, none of us are expecting Kevin O'Connell to be fired this offseason.
I'm not.
I'm not advocating for KOC to be fired. But if they do keep him, it will be the first time. I'm trying to find the tweet really quick.
Oh, I think I saw this too. It'd be like one of the first times that a coach has made it 5 seasons without a playoff win.
Yeah, so I found the tweet. It's from @PowerTripBets. If the Minnesota Vikings choose to bring back Kevin O'Connell as head coach for 2026, it would mark the first time since 2018 with Jay Gruden that a coach has received a 5th season without a playoff win. So that's important. Playoff win is important. He's been to the playoffs, 2022 and 2024, and he's going to miss it. Obviously, they're eliminated this year. So, I mean, you look at stats and you're like, we've seen a bunch this year where J.J. McCarthy's the first player to have 2 passing and 1 rushing touchdown 3 times since 1962. Stuff like that. We've seen stuff like that. But it also goes the other way, too. Kevin O'Connell could be the first head coach since COVID to get a 5th season without a playoff win. And that's, Brian Daboll, the fired Giants head coach, he got a playoff win against the Vikings. It's not a small thing. It's also not everything, but it's not a small thing.
For sure. Well, I think we should move into game balls.
Yeah,
we got to keep this train moving a little bit here.
This might be the longest we've talked about a single game in a while.
Yeah, well, and it's easy to talk about just a really good game that the Vikings put together. I'll start because I tend to do this with game balls. You tend to be really vague and kind of open-ended with your roses and thorns, and I have a hard time singling out one guy. Blake Cashman stood out to me on the box score because he continues to lead the team in tackles, and the Vikings continue to play well when he's on the field. And obviously they didn't play very well all season, but they played especially poorly. And I think, was it the Chargers game, or it was one of those early season games that was really miserable? At the Bengals, no, they won that one. The Falcons game, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the second game of the year.
The Falcons game where he was out, that it was just like, man. And I think the Chargers game too, he might have been out. But anyways, Cashman, I think he's gotten a game ball from me more than once this year. He continues to deserve that. He led the team in tackles, may have led the whole, both defensive groups, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the box score.
He had 11 tackles.
Yeah, he led both teams in tackles.
Yeah. Okay.
He had 11. Overshown, number 0 for Dallas had 7. So he's head and shoulders above anybody else. But I would also like to give one to Jonathan Grenard. Jonathan Grenard got the only solo sack for the Vikings. And I don't know if you remember that play, but he had Dak dead to rights. Dak got away from him. Jonathan Grenard got up, tracked him down, and took him down for the sack. And I think it was that play that he kind of re-aggravated his shoulder, and that's why he's going to be sitting out the rest of the season. And so, to put your body on the line like that, and I'm guessing it wasn't just when the sack was finalized, but I'm guessing it was the original attempt at the sack that Dak slipped away from that probably re-aggravated it. I don't know. We'll have to ask Jonathan Grenard. Maybe he wants to come on the podcast and talk about it.
JG, let's get you on the show here. You got some time.
I'm guessing he was in some pain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And got up despite the pain, took the guy down. And to me, that's just like, that's the effort you want to see. That's the grittiness. That's the toughness. That's a Harrison Smith kind of play. Like, I'm going to go out here and put my body on the line for my teammates. And that's admirable. That's worth a game ball, in my opinion. So I think both of those guys. And surprisingly, I've been giving a lot of defensive game balls this year.
They've been the more consistently, well-playing part of the phase of football here. Like, if the Vikings have rarely lost a game this year because of defense. Usually it's either been because of the quarterback position / offense or, a combination of offense and special teams blunders. Usually the defense has done enough to keep them in each game this year. I think for the most part, I might be blacked out and forgetting some like 40-0 game. Well, the 26-0 game, but even then, the defense only gave up 19 points, and a lot of those were field goals. Like that's as many points as they gave up against the Cowboys, and we are saying the defense played very well. So, yeah, it's definitely respectable and understandable that most of your game balls this year have gone to defensive players.
Who are you giving a game ball to?
Well, I do want to say, I do think J.J. McCarthy is deserving of a game ball. And I think he literally got one from the head coach after the game.
And then didn't he turn around and like give it to his offensive line?
Yeah, I think he immediately tossed it over to Brian O'Neill and the whole offensive line. Admirable. J.J. McCarthy is going to be that guy. They showed him before the game dapping up all the service members that were carrying on the flag of the field. You're just going to get that from J.J. McCarthy. The guy that gives his hat to the kid at the autograph signing, he's just going to do stuff like that. So I think he's deserving, but my official game ball, Jalen Nailor. Yeah, I think he only had like 40-something yards receiving, 47. 3 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns, and one of them was the one I don't know, but I feel like with the way he was down bad on the field after catching that ball, landing straight on his back, maybe it was Jordan Addison coming up and giving him the revive.
I saw that.
Which was awesome.
That was funny.
But I think he must have just gotten like the wind knocked out of him, which I think you texted me. Like,
that's what it looks like to me. He just landed on his back hard, and I wonder if his lungs kind of like needed a minute to kind of get back into their rhythm. I don't know.
I think we've all had the wind knocked out of us at some point. I think I was a kid the last time it happened to me, but it's one of those like, oh, you just remember.
Yep.
It's a shock. I texted you. It's a shockingly painful thing to happen. So I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming when he landed down, he just got the wind knocked out of him real bad, which is why he was down. They took him to the medical tent, and he even came back in the game. And I think, did he catch another touchdown after that, or was that his second touchdown?
I can't remember the sequence of those touchdowns, but
either way, Jalen Nailor in this game was a solid target. I think he was the one again to catch that 4th and 3 pass from J.J. McCarthy in the third quarter to really turn the game around.
Those were his 3 catches, the 2 touchdowns and that 4th down catch.
So yeah, really good play, really most of the season. How many times in Jalen Nailor's career we said, I probably even said, like, I'm done with him. Who cares? He's going to get wide open and then drop a pass. We've seen a couple highlight reels from him, 1 catch highlight reels throughout his career, but this year he is the most consistent he's been, and you can tell that while J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson don't quite have that relationship going, which I've seen people kind of blame on training camp a little bit, which I don't know, maybe that's overblown. But Jalen Nailor and J.J. McCarthy, there's something there. There's a good connection there. Maybe it's been all luck and we're putting too much into it, but maybe it's just like, hey, J.J. McCarthy, he can trust the guy. Not that he can't trust Justin Jefferson. But yeah, he gets my game ball. Jalen Nailor, just for coming back after that painful, probably wind knocked out injury. Anyway, so yeah.
It's a good one. I like Jalen Nailor. Speedy,
which that came out of nowhere too, apparently. Like, was it last season, right before the season last year?
It was last year that it really came out. But what was funny was who does Sunday night? Is it who's one of the the broadcasters, not Collinsworth.
Collinsworth and Tirico.
Mike Tirico kept trying to call him Speedy. And at one point it was like they went to a commercial break and Tirico's like, and that's Jalen Speedy Naylor. Like, all right, you don't have to say his nickname. Just call him Jalen Naylor. It's fine.
I think I sent you a TikTok in the last few weeks where somebody, like, they have a Jalen Naylor jersey and they cricketed some words and they ironed it on their jersey, and it says one of my favorite jokes. It's got Naylor's name and it's Naylor ? I barely know her. And for that reason, I want a Jalen Naylor jersey, because I would absolutely do that add-on to the nameplate there. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get to calling him Speedy. I will be interested to see. I think he's a free agent after this year.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Excuse
you
me.
Can be all right over there?
Yeah, I had a burp, untimed burp. Excuse me, guys. But I will be interested to see if the Vikings do too much to try to keep him. He kind of feels like who's the Osborne? KJ Osborne. They just kind of let him walk.
Yep.
I wonder if they're going to do that with Jalen Naylor. I don't know. I don't really know if I have much of an opinion on that right now. But at least for this year, he has shown up when he needs to show up for the most part. We haven't been saying, oh, they lost this game because that wide open drop that he had. You know, he caught 2 touchdowns against the Cowboys, and that was enough points to put them over the top. So.
Yep, he's an unrestricted free agent after this season. So.
And maybe some other team is going to try to offer him more than the Vikings can or are willing to. Either way, he's come around for me. I was ready to be done with him before this year. I probably even said he might be a cut in training camp, but I'm a Naylor fan.
With Thielen gone, he makes a lot of sense as a I know. He makes a lot of sense as a wide receiver 3, in my opinion. If you can keep Jefferson and Addison, which I think both of them are obviously around next year. I don't know that Justin Jefferson's not going to
he's not going
demand
anywhere.
A trade.
If Justin Jefferson gets traded because he's demanded it, he has done everything publicly to try to hide frustrations. It's almost like kind of weird how calm he's been.
He even just said, I'm proud of myself for how I've handled myself. I think he said that in his presser after the game. I'm proud of how I've handled the adversity this season. And good for you. This is part of being in the league. I think there's a lot of pressure, and not every year is going to be this glossy, amazing year. And he's used to glossy, amazing years. He's never had a down year, and this is a down year for him.
I will say, because we're starting to derail here on Justin Jefferson a little bit, but that's fine. We're a Vikings podcast. I will say it hasn't 100% been, the quarterback position. He had a touchdown in his hands yesterday, against the Cowboys, and dropped it. It would have been a good catch, but he dropped it. He's had a couple from J.J. McCarthy that he could have caught it, and you'd think the best wide receiver in the NFL would catch those. So he's not blameless. It's also not like he's been getting Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, one of the greatest of all time. But he's still not blameless in all this. But to his credit, people have been saying usually wide receivers are divas, and he's not a diva. I think he really respects the captain role that he has, and he's taken it to heart. You've got something pulled up here, though.
Oh, I was just looking at Spot Rack. Jordan Addison is signed through 2026, and then the Vikings could pick up an option for 27 before he becomes a free agent in 28.
Would you pick up Addison's option?
I think so, especially if he can stay out of trouble. If the off the field issues can get cleaned up, and he has basically a spotless record, no run-ins with law enforcement, he's not missing team meetings, he's a consummate professional, then sure, yeah, let's extend that, because he's we've said it before, he's a wide receiver 1 on other teams.
On at least half the teams in the league, he's their top wide receiver.
So I think if you can keep Jefferson and Addison as your 1-2 punch at wide receiver, you've got a really good receiver room already. And then if you bring in someone else, great. But if you can keep Naylor, I think, man, you've got a solid group. And you've got some opportunity then, I think, to maybe bring in some younger guys, develop them, and maybe you get somebody to fill in that gap when Addison leaves eventually. 'Cause I could see him being a Diggs and not being a career-long Vikings. He might, have the like once in a lifetime memorable catch that like our kids will remember for the rest of their lives. And then move on because that's just how he is. I could see that happening. So if you can build around those two for sure, and then maybe Jalen Naylor as well, I'd be excited about that.
Yeah, I think Addison, the only reason he wouldn't continue to be in Minnesota is if I haven't really ever heard him talk, but I don't know if he secretly hates, being in the cold of Minnesota. If he does, I haven't heard him say anything about that. I think he gets plenty of, play time and ball opportunities, so he's not one that's going to complain about, I never get the ball, because he does get the ball. I think it would just be a pure business thing, like, hey, you can't necessarily pay Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, because I think Jordan Addison, if you look at his true value, he's probably pushing, he's a borderline Pro Bowl player. He'd be wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams. He could be one that realistically could, demand, and not demand in a bad way, but call for $100 million contract. He's not Justin Jefferson. Nobody is. But I don't know if the Vikings are a team that are going to pay 2 wide receivers $100+ million. We shall see. It's nice that we don't have to know for at least another year and a half or so for him.
Can we completely derail the wide receiver conversation?
Yeah, let's go.
Because we have this on our outline, so it's not like we're derailing for derailing's sake. But something we wanted to talk about tonight was, should the Vikings tank for a draft pick? They obviously have won 2 in a row now. They beat the Commanders pretty badly 2 weeks ago, but they were still in the playoff hunt at that point. And then the Bears won, and by virtue of the Bears winning, the Vikings are
they're
out
mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
So with that, the Vikings are kind of in this weird spot of like, well, do we just lose out and get a high draft pick or whatever? And you've said before, like, you're not necessarily a tank candidate. Like you'd rather see the team win and whatever.
Yep. We get so few games a year. And NFL fans, we get 17 regular season games a year. Even in bad years, it's still fun. Are you not more happy right now?
Oh yeah.
As a fan of watching football, it's one thing to like understand the numbers and like how future could work and think business wise. Yeah, it might be strategically better to have a higher draft pick. But are you not more happy as a fan in the moment watching Sunday Night Football, watching them beat the Cowboys? Like that's more fun, and that's for future Kwesi to worry about if they have the 12th or the 15th pick. Like, I'd rather a win and 3 picks worse than feeling really crappy about my team and 1 or 2 picks better. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe I'm wrong, and that's fine. You can argue with me that I can see the logic of like tank and lose out, but if it's 1 game, maybe lose out for the first overall pick. But if it's the rest of this, like 4 games, come on, guys, this is entertainment. Like, this is what we want to see our team win.
And I think you said something similar last week, and I don't disagree with you. Right now, the Vikings are sitting at the 12th pick in the first round, which isn't insignificant. I mean, to get a top 15 pick means you're getting a decent player.
Theoretically, yeah. Now, if you want the best player, you're going to have to trade, the next 5 years of your draft status. But I mean, 12th is not terrible.
But looking at tankathon.com, their mock draft, which I'll give the caveat right away. A mock draft is a dime a dozen. There are so many of them out there. And I mean, you and I could sit here and mock draft.
Oh, yeah.
For the Vikings, and we could put it out on Twitter and say, "Oh, the Skol Hub, we've got the best mock draft."
We will never do that, by the way.
We'll never do that. But Tankathon's mock draft, I just this caught my eye, and I want to talk about it because I'd be interested to hear your opinion. Tankathon's mock draft has the Vikings taking Jeremiah Love, a Heisman candidate running back out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Harrison Smith played at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Kyle Rudolph, didn't he play for Notre Dame?
He did, yeah. For a while, the Vikings had like 6 Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
The Vikings have had this little pipeline from South Bend, Indiana to Minneapolis, Minnesota a few times. I really like Jeremiah Love, and I like the stat line of 1,300 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns. Yeah, you can take a peek at anything else you want to over here. I'm just intrigued by that. At pick number 12, the Vikings taking Jeremiah Love. If that's where the Vikings end up, even given what we just talked about a little bit ago about Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones, like they're a good 1-2 punch at running back. Jordan Mason still has probably a few good years left in him as a back, but I think
and they re-upped Jordan Mason when they traded.
But we're seeing the writing on the wall with Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be like 32, he's
old.
Next season.
You hit that 30-year mark as a running back, and if you're a good one who has a lot of carries, you're pretty worn down at that point.
Yeah, the two players I've kind of seen, and that's kind of why I scrolled on your computer there, that I've kind of seen for the Vikings so far, which, again, it's way too early to start talking draft, but I guess when you're eliminated from the playoffs, it's never that early.
We're here.
The two players I've seen have been Love, the running back, and then I was trying to think, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think there's a safety from Ohio State that people have been talking about too, and I just can't remember his name. We are not draft experts. We'll never claim to be, but yeah, I mean, you said Harrison Smith going to Notre Dame. He's probably going to retire, and you need to fill that safety role. Aaron Jones, he's going to be 31, 32 next season, and you're going to need to fill that running back role. But we did just spend a few minutes talking about how Kevin O'Connell doesn't. Caleb Downs, thank you for looking that up. That's the other name I've seen so far. But yeah, maybe you don't need a dynamic 12th overall pick at running back. I'd love it if they drafted him. But maybe
this one has him going 5th overall, the Jets.
Oh, there it
Caleb
is. Yeah,
Downs.
I see it. It'll be interesting to figure that all out. But to answer the root of this question, I don't think you need to tank at this point. Looking at draft order, if we really want to analyze the idea of losing the next 3 games just for draft order, the Vikings right now are 6-8. The current 9th overall pick, the Vikings at 6-8 have the 12th overall pick. The current 9th overall pick is at 4-10, which is the same as the 7th overall pick. So, you're already too far away from getting to a good pick. I think the best you could hope for would maybe be like the 10th pick if you lost all 3 games, and then you'd need Atlanta and Kansas City to both win the next couple to really pass you. I think no matter what, the way the Vikings are sitting right now, they hold the 12th pick. The best they could get might be the 10th pick. But really, the worst they could get would be like the 17th-ish, maybe 18th pick. Because then after that, the 19th pick, you're getting into playoff teams. So if they win out and get to 9 wins, they're probably still looking at the 16th, 17th pick. And in the grand scheme of things, and I know people are going to be like, you're an idiot, 12th is way better than 17th. But the grand scheme of things, when the draft is just a luck anyways, especially when Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is the guy making the draft picks. It's really not that different. I mean, you're going to have the same needs anyways. And if you need to make a move, Kwesi can make a terrible trade to move up 6 spots. And Kwesi is not going to be the guy that's going to draft the diamond in the rough anyways, so it's not going to make that big of a difference to be 3 or 4 picks different. I'd rather have the entertainment of watching 3 wins in the next 3 weeks than the 17th pick over the 19th pick.
If Jeremiah Love is available at 16, 17, 18, whenever the Vikings pick, you think they take him?
That'd be interesting because, like I just said a few minutes ago, we just spent like 15 minutes on how Kevin O'Connell doesn't really put an emphasis on the run game. So do you think it would take some convincing to say, hey, KOC, I'm Kwesi, and we hold the 15th overall pick, and Jeremiah Love is somehow available, I'm going to take him. Don't you think Kevin O'Connell would be like, let's get a better, center or a better safety? If Caleb Downs, which you just said he's mocked to the 4th overall pick.
Top 5, yeah.
Yeah, 5th overall pick. Like, we see mock drafts. We see these, the whole draft process totally changes. This time, in December before J.J. McCarthy was picked, we were talking about him being maybe a 3rd to 2nd round pick. And then he moved all the way up to 10th overall, which things change like crazy. But, yeah, I mean, that's why I'd rather watch the Vikings beat the Lions on Christmas Day than worry about, 3 different, pick 3 different, my goodness, I can't talk right now.
To say?
I don't care enough about, draft status when you're talking 3 different picks.
I think all of this, I should have done my homework a little bit more. I was kind of assuming that Aaron Jones was a goner after this season, but
they re-upped him before this season.
He's under contract for 1 more year, and at a pretty hefty price tag. He's got a base salary of $9 million and a cap hit of 14.8 next season. That's a lot to be paying a mid 30-year-old.
Especially, and I didn't know that, but especially when you remember when the Vikings made the decision to release, not trade, not restructure, release Dalvin Cook, it's because they were set to pay him $14 million. And
now here we are.
He was not the same Dalvin Cook. And granted, they made the right move to get rid of him because he's not done a single thing in the league. I think he hasn't played in the last season or 2. But yeah, when we have historical information on the Vikings and the running back position, if they keep, I don't know what it would, is it a $14 million cap hit? Dead cap if they release Aaron Jones? I don't know. Maybe he retires. Maybe I have no idea. But that's a lot of money.
Dead cap is 6.8, according to Spot Rack. My thought was, like, you look at the Rams. They've got Kyren Williams, who's a great RB1, and then you've got Blake Corum, the younger guy, who played with J.J. McCarthy on that Michigan championship team as that solid number 2 guy. Like, if Jordan Mason could move into that number 1 spot and you get a guy like Jeremiah Love, boy, that would be something. And that would be a foundation on which to build a young, developing quarterback. When you've got that 1-2 punch at running back, if KOC can tweak his coaching style a little bit to help J.J. McCarthy out. But, yeah, that might be totally pointless and useless because that might not happen at all.
Yep. But that's all a conversation really for a month from now. I mean, when we really, NFL season is deep into the playoffs and we're talking about overall playoff games, and hey, now we know the Vikings have this overall pick. It'll be interesting. This offseason is going to be fun, or at least entertaining, if not exciting.
Well, I think we're starting to run out of beer here, so I think we need to wind things down. We need to look ahead to week 15, 16?
I have 3 games left, and there's 18. So, yeah, week 15.
Week 15, 16.
It's week 6.
Week 16.
The Giants.
The Vikings, Giants game. The Vikings are going to New Jersey, which doesn't make any sense because they're playing the New York Giants.
Yep.
that happen to play their home games in New Jersey, which is stupid. But anyways, they're going to play the Giants. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. So far,
as that's what they opened up as, and that's from ESPN as of like 4 p.m. today. So
43.5 is the over/under. Keys to victory. What are you thinking for the Vikings to win this one?
I think we've hit on this point a handful of times already this episode. The development of KOC as a coach. I think the key to victory is just KOC continuing to coach and make decisions based on the strengths of his players and not necessarily the idea and the overall game plan that he has. He needs to know, like, hey, F it ball. Let's just go play F it ball, and that's kind of my key to victory. If he does that, we should see another 30-plus point scoring game, which is insane for me to think that I'm saying that, but I truly believe it. They play F it ball again, they're going to score another 28 to 30 points, and we'll be talking about another victory.
And, I mean, now's the time to do it. Like, you're out of the playoffs. You don't have anything to lose. If you lose to the Giants, no one's going to be that broken up about it. It's not like, oh, man, you just let the playoffs slip out of your fingers. Well, nope, the Bears did that to us this last week. So
yeah, I say, like, don't lose out, but that's on purpose. Like, if they do end up losing, they're out of the playoffs. Like, I'm not really that mad. I want to see wins, but, like, you know what? I can see the logic behind how a loss could help their draft status, and I'm okay with that. But I still want them to win.
J.J. McCarthy will be out there. Justin Jefferson will be out there. Aaron Jones will be out there. It's not going to be Brosmer and Xavier Scott, and Jalen Naylor's not going to be wide receiver 1 with who knows who. Right?
I think back to the year Jared Allen was chasing the sack record, much like Myles Garrett is right now. That was a terrible year for the Vikings record-wise, but we had that sack record to be excited for. Every time the opposing team passed, immediately we're like, oh, yes, maybe Jared's going to no. Or, oh, yes, oh, he got another sack. I'm kind of thinking J.J. McCarthy throwing, Justin Jefferson to 1,000 yards receiving is the 2025 version of the Jared Allen sack record. Every time Justin Jefferson catches a ball, that's what I'm really excited for, is just get him over 1,000.
And I think my key to the game is going to help feed that Justin Jefferson success.
Yeah.
I would love to see him get 1,000 yards. I'm not going to hold my breath that that's going to happen. But
there's 3 games, and he's less than 200 yards away. He's the best wide receiver in football. He'll get there.
We'll see. I'm going to reserve my judgment until I see anything else. But the run game, man, it's got to start with the run game. And I think KOC's been a little stubborn with that, and stubborn to the point where he's like, okay, well, watch me. The first 5 plays of the game are going to be run plays. Like, I'm just going to put my middle finger up to everybody that doubts me, and everybody says that I'm, a pass-only coordinator, like, whatever. Like, we'll just run. I think 2 weeks ago against the Commanders, they had, like, 5 or 6 rushes in a drive, which doesn't happen a lot, but it did. So run game, I still think, is the key to unlocking JJ's success. And maybe I'm a little old school, maybe I'm a little narrow-minded, but I think if you can get Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason running the ball efficiently, not 2.8, but 4.8 yards per carry or better, you're going to unlock a whole lot of possibilities for your offense. And then KOC is going to be able to, like, with poise, with control, with a lot of just comfort in the headset, like, all right, this is your moment. Here's what you're going to do. Tell J.J. McCarthy what to do, and he goes out and just kills it.
Yeah. All right, so for purple punishments, as far as next episode, which will be episode 119, we're getting up there, man.
Yeah, we are.
Preseason, we both said the Vikings would beat the Giants, and I think we're both still with that mindset as of right now. My official prediction, the Vikings 28, Giants 17. I think the Vikings win, and you know what? Maybe I'm jinxing it because the last few weeks I've been saying, the Vikings are going to lose by 1,000 points. But yeah, I think realistically, if we see what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, there's no reason this team shouldn't beat a Giants team that has nothing to play for at all.
31-0 Vikings.
That's just the second week in a row you said that.
I think I'm just going to stick with that till the end of the season.
Hey, you were wrong about that on the Cowboys game, but not by much.
Not by much.
I mean, yeah, defensively they scored a lot more than nothing. But the Vikings actually ended up scoring 34 points, and you said 31-0. So, you know what? I'm with you. Let's roll with it. My official prediction is still 28-17, but I'm not saying you're crazy. Last week I literally laughed out loud when I saw your prediction. This week, let's go. I'm here for it.
All right. Well, what did you think of the beer?
Really good. As I got more into the second one, I definitely got more hints of that gingerbread flavor in a really good way. It still never turned the corner as far as like an overly sweet dessert beer. It's more of like a malty, almost porter-like beer for me, but that gingerbread flavor is just subtle enough that it's really nice. I liked it a lot.
I think the soapiness went away, and I think I attribute that like soapy smell to the cinnamon.
Okay.
I think that is a thing. I think some people, and I've never really been one, but maybe it's just this particular beer that like when you smell cinnamon or taste cinnamon, you taste soap or you smell soap. And the second one definitely grew on me a lot. And the aroma, the soapiness of that smell, that went away. And yeah, I like it. It's a solid beer. It's dark, it's malty. It's definitely right in my category of beer, for sure.
On the darker, warm.
On the darker end, but malty, toasty. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good beer, for sure.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'll gladly have it again. NoCoast, good job on this one. I need to have more NoCoast beers. It's been a while. I think I haven't really had any since we did the tour of their nitro beers back a year or two ago.
So those were good too.
Yeah, and I haven't seen those in a while, so hopefully they're still making those. But yeah, really good beer. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Where can people find us?
If you want to keep the conversation going, go ahead and comment on this YouTube video that you're watching right now. Let us know what you liked about this episode, and if you have any thoughts on any of our opinions, let us know if you think we're totally wrong. Major Bluestone, I know you're probably watching, so let us know what we got wrong on this one. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. But yeah, you can find us everywhere on social media: Facebook, Twitter or X, Instagram. Blue Sky is still out there, even though we've kind of abandoned that one. TikTok for sure. If you want to find injury videos, we have the video of the Pat Mahomes injury. Evan, you sent me the video of Micah Parsons, which I haven't posted yet, but keep an eye out. I might post that one up here. Both of those guys are out for the year with torn ACLs.
This was a big week for
big
major high profile players getting hurt. It was crazy.
But yeah, we're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok. If you want to send us an email, I think we still might have a sticker or two. So if you want a free sticker and you're willing to give us your address,
we've got some.
I think we've got a sticker. Go ahead and send us an email to theskolhop@gmail.com.
I got one.
Other than that, yeah, just comment, share us with your friends, because if you like us, you probably know people that will like us as well. And yeah, like I said, even if your comment is, man, you guys are terrible and your take on this is awful, let us know, because you can only help us have better takes. So yeah, we are out there. Go ahead and find us everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, man. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, this was a really good episode.
I agree. Episode 118.
Yeah.
That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. And this may be the best episode yet.
I would agree.
Skol.
Skol.